So Sea of Thieves came out a couple of months ago, and with it came a lot of expectations. Some more realistic than others, but also lots of well-justified disappointment, and with it many arguments about what Sea of Thieves really is and what it should be. This is gonna be more of that, so if I'm already hitting a nerve, you might as well just run away and keep covering your ears, or you sit down and listen to one of many passionate fans who really genuinely want the game to achieve greatness. Sea of Thieves currently suffers from an onslaught of haters and hardcore fans, making it really hard to criticize the game without being pushed into one of those two groups. I just want to explain what I believe to be the vision the devs should follow and what would be the best for the majority of the players. I'm really concerned about how little there is to the game at the moment, and the likelihood of it reaching the insane potential it obviously has now. And no, I don't hate the game. At all. Everything you're about to hear comes from the heart. I love Rare. I always have. Their games have been with me for most of my life, and have been an inspiration to me as an artist and an aspiring developer. And I truly believe that this game, even in its current state, is no different. As it is, I consider Sea of Thieves an amazing foundation to be one of the most exciting and promising games I've seen in a while. In fact, I think it's an incredibly impressive first step towards a new Rare that I want to succeed. So how about you sit down and listen to what I have to say? It's really all in best interest for not only the game, but also the community as a whole.
God damn it, I wanna fucking die.
This part in the video would be a lot less difficult if it wasn't for this god-awful Xbox app not even showing my overall playtime, but since I'm already past the level 25 mark on each trading company, it's pretty safe to say I got a good 100 hours into the game already. I'ma hit you up with some next level math over here. 100 hours, that means it took about 20 for the novelties in the game to run out, and about another 20 for me to experience most of what I dislike about the game. Anything beyond that is still enjoyable, but I can't say I've never felt desperate for the game to finally throw one or two surprises at me. Unfortunately, 60 hours later, it's nothing more than... It's alright. It's okay. I think I had a good time, I guess. Hey look, it's a Castaway's chest. When I said novelties, I was talking about the fun little mechanics the developers put into the game that really do provide a lot of communication fun. I wouldn't want to be without them. Unfortunately, like with any other game, I truly believe that any toy mechanic will eventually lose its novelty. From that point on, it's the game's job to set a rock-solid, long-term gameplay loop that keeps people like me back into it. After all, no amounts of added substance ever takes your toys away. I sometimes feel like I'm in the minority with this mindset. When I play Sea of Thieves, I just want to go and set out on an adventure. And I think everyone wants that. An adventure is like a painting that consists of many brushstrokes and colors, all represented by more than just a single aspect. And just like that, you can't just do the same thing in repetition. Even worse, doing so with directions given to you, completely missing the point of an adventure. The game not only needs to live through moments like finding a shipwreck with great treasure, but also exploring a hidden cave that may have some actually scary enemy in there, properly guarding a marauder's chest behind it and posing a genuine threat. In order to achieve that, you need to have set environments that frequently have treasure, but have it be ambiguous how easy it is to reach them through RNG despite being the same location. When I was exploring these uncharted islands located on N10 and S16 and I found these underwater caves, it felt fucking magical. I realized there's absolutely nothing in there, and it completely removes all my desire to ever go back there again. The same counts for any and all caves and secrets in the game. If I had $1 for every time some goober told me, actually, there's the wall painting, I'd have a lot more than some captain's chest I brought home to granny gold hoarders. 700 gold? What the fuck? Listen here, friend. I could easily pick up and play Banjo-Kazooie any goddamn day and finish it in 5 to 6 hours. And all of its collectibles will always be on the same locations, but it never gets old to revisit them. Any good game's environments eventually become iconic to players because of what's hidden there. Sea of Thieves has many fantastic environments, but way too rarely is there anything valuable to find, unless your chores lead you there. that's a different issue. I also want to leave an outpost and know that there's instantly constant danger and ambiguity on the sea, even without PvP. And don't get me wrong, I don't think outposts should ever be PvP safe zones, but to know that only outposts will provide you with comfort of safety from non-player dangers is a feeling this game has yet to provide for me. It's all such a walk in the park. Unless you do chores that provide some sort of difficulty in single locations. I digress. Yes, let me constantly be on my toes, even when there's no silhouette on the horizon. If anything, that'll make PvP all the more special. I've said this to people so many times. The game doesn't specialize on a single thing. It should never expect you to do the same thing over and over again.
It's about the adventure.
Not a single mechanic or feature that'll hopefully salvage anything else that's lacking. This is exactly why Rare made the servers so limited, to prevent players from limiting their experience to a single part of the game. Yet I see dozens of people shrug off genuine criticism for not always doing PvP as if that's all they should expect out of the game and therefore it's a low priority? The point I'm making here is that ever since Rare has made clear that they're going to prioritize fan feedback over their own, these kinds of things make people like me look as if they're less passionate about the game, and it worries me who Rare is actually listening to. This is what I meant by insane potential. I want people not unlike myself to be able to come home from a long day, boot up the game, get on that damn boat, sail towards a random direction and have a variety of dangers and surprises coming their way, friends or not. If a game like Banjo-Kazooie that I can beat in 5 hours can provide me with that feeling, yet I need to play several hour-long sessions of Sea of Thieves, another game largely focused on exploration and discovery, just to have something happen, unless I constantly butt heads with other people, there's a problem. Reward me for exploration, throw dangers like fighting numbers of sea and land monsters at me, so that when I find a PvP ship on the horizon, it will have a significant effect on the variety in the game. As it is, apart from being not nearly as rewarding as voyages in numbers by design, there's barely anything happening if you're just exploring and adventuring just for the sake of it. I want to fight one of many sea monsters and watch a captain's chest come out of its mouth as it's slowly sinking into the deep after I killed it.
And for the love of God, let it put up a fight, you dick!
Yes, I do understand PvP is a great aspect of the game, but I think it is incredibly important to give people both the PvE and PvP experience. There needs to be that balance to make both feel special. I want to be excited for an equal chance of player interaction and the game's own dangers to lead me through hours of excitement. Only if the world itself is interesting to live and survive in do I feel engaged trying to survive when fighting other people. And guess what? We're not even done yet. There's more. You probably noticed how I've been avoiding getting more into voyages as a whole. I can imagine many people would have already pointed me towards those throughout this stupid script. So let me tell you why I've been neglecting them. Voyages fucking suck! They barely add any value to the experience. In fact, I think they misguide players into playing the game in a way that ruins the experience in the long run. Has anyone ever told you about the honeymoon phase? You know, when you fall in love with something, you look through rose-tinted glasses, and then all the flaws don't affect you. And then after a couple days when the novelty runs off, then it starts being a problem. Well, there's that, and then there's doing the same 3 mission types over and over again with these reputation numbers reeling you into doing chores that just ruin the magic of the game. That's not an adventure. That's just work. Currently, it takes about 25 reputation levels to actually feel some sort of difficulty curve in just one of the 3 trading companies. Now that I'm at level 28 in Order Assaults, for example, it sometimes gets really difficult and drawn out, only for me to find a skull that's barely any better than a seafarer's chest. Yeah, that's another problem. RNG reward values suck. Alright, let's do some more math. 100 gold for the voyage fee, gone. 1 or 2 bomb barrels, about 125 gold worth, used against gold skeletons, gone. And then you give me a disgraced skull? Just 300-ish gold? I could have just gone to a fort and got 2 random bomb barrels and be left with more. And don't get me wrong, the worst part isn't that you're somehow literally forced into using them or something, it's how doing chores is the only way to make good money when all goes well. The most fun way to play Sea of Thieves is believed to be the least productive way. Voyages have made it difficult for several of my friends and even myself sometimes to forget about that and enjoy the game for its adventure adventure. Every person I've got into the game who's followed that mindset now easily gets very bitter when the job doesn't go well enough, if supplies are not used efficiently enough, when a voyage was so long and tedious, and there's not a single high-value chest to be found. And then a 4-man crew shows up and probably ruins your 2-hour chore session. It's not that the player interaction and with it the sudden difficulty spike is a problem, it's that the voyages aren't fun. And because they're so drawn out and tedious, it doesn't matter what you get. It doesn't matter if you get 2 captain's chests, for fuck's sake. It's not satisfying to find 2 captain's chests or villainous skulls if all you're doing is follow orders and fight the same skeleton enemies just because that's where you're supposed to be. You're doing a job. You're following orders. What is this pirate game? Voyages make this adventure game feel like work when it should be about your own adventure. I don't care if you think I can make up my own adventure on the way while you're telling me where to go. No, you don't understand. You already ruined it. I would feel so much better about doing voyages if they're only found in messages and bottles. After all, finding a map is a lot more exciting than getting one handed to you in what's pretty much the equivalent of finding grandma's lost kitty off a tree and getting a quarter of what you hoped for in return. After about 100 hours of me just doing voyages and wondering why the magic is just being sucked out like a vacuum, I suddenly decided to stop doing voyages. And while I'm not nearly getting enough money and it sucks that I'm not getting fucking anything in the game, I suddenly understand why. I really hope Rare doesn't focus too much on adding more voyages for now, but make sure there's more things happening when you're not doing voyages. Yeah, cool, add more stuff to coral reef diving, but does that mean I can find something there when I'm not being told to find something there? Let people find these things on their way from island to island and have it feel like something special when it comes up during the adventures. Voyages are not the best way to add content. They really aren't. I do not want to feel like I'm getting left out of a big chunk of the experience when I don't want to do chores or fight every single goddamn ship I encounter over and over and over again. If you really want people to have fun with treasure maps, why not let them make their own? Here, it's really easy. First, the player goes to the gold hoarders and gets a cursed chest that has nothing in it, but grows some valuable stuff the longer it's buried underground. Once the player has found a good diggable spot, they go to their ship, pick a bottle, and write a note and throw it in the ocean. Eventually, other players will find that bottle washed up on the shore of a random island in the area. They will receive the map alongside a little note that might even use a word filter that swaps profanity with random kid-friendly pirate cursing. And don't give me any of that bullshit how you can't do it. Wii U era hyper-friendly Nintendo could do it in Wind Waker HD, so can you. Also, does that concept ring a bell? Ever heard of Balloon World from Mario Odyssey? And how that was a lot better received than people expected? You started your entire studio's reputation through copying rough concepts Nintendo worked on before. Don't be ashamed to do it again. I promise it'll be 1,000 times more fun than your current voyages. Now, I know I've been focusing a lot on the negatives in this video, but please keep in mind that I do not believe meandering too much with positive aspects will improve the game in any way. Because it really deserves to be a better game with better receptions. I can't think of the last time I played a game with that much potential. All these things aside, there have been numerous incredible moments in the game, and none of my points ever make me feel as if the game isn't unique and doesn't deserve to exist. Currently, we have a game on our hands that majorly consists of tedium in its gameplay loop, at least how it's intended, but also costs about $50, or for me, 60 euros, too much to justify any of its flaws. When in reality, this game could potentially become my own personal game of the year. I can't believe a friend of mine paid $60 for this game just because he knows how much I want people to support Rare, when he could have just gotten the Game Pass trial. After all, he only played the game like 4 times since. I'm so sorry, Oregon. Please don't forget about people like me who care about more than just ship battles and goofing off with friends using the same mechanics until the novelty runs out. And it will run out. And that's fine. Your game should stand on different legs in the long run.